Hello and welcome to episode 39 of Wrong End of the Stick podcast with me, Zach Eaton, and Jonathan Nimmo.
Hello.
Again with us today. Apologies about my nasally, kind of croaky voice.
Yeah, you've been coldy.
I've been a bit coldy.
Which, to be honest, is the reason we didn't record last week, because I was exactly the same. So
it's just going around. It's just coldy business. But it's the new year.
It's a new year. We missed our anniversary show.
We missed our anniversary show.
We've got some fun things lined up in the in the next coming weeks that we'll slowly release to people, because we've been listening back to our old episodes and pulling out some highlights. Shall we? Is highlights the right word?
It's like the lowlights. The lowlights of our podcast. I think, which includes a lot of Denley comments and a lot of just random
shocking
cricket-related absurdity that kind of comes out naturally. Looking forward to the finished product of that. That should be pretty good.
There's going to be a lot of editing, so it's going to take me a while, but I'll crack on with it, and
it's going to be good.
I tell you have to listen to like 20 odd hours of just us talking about cricket, which is fine, but back to back, that's quite an
I'm
issue,
ready for it. I'm so ready for it. What's the plan today?
What's the plan? Well, the plan is to talk mostly about England.
Yeah.
Apologies for all non-England people out there, but we're going to talk about the second test against South Africa, which is done and dusted now. Mm-hmm. The third test is midway through as we speak.
Looking good.
Currently awaiting Ollie Pope to hopefully, fingers crossed, get his century.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of things that are going on in the world of cricket that I need to play for you, a couple of videos, and we're going to get your reaction to them and see what you think of them, and stuff that happened recently. Controversy, maybe?
More controversy?
Ish. It's kind of, it's low on level controversy really, but and then we've got a Whyyyssaaat.
Nice.
So that's it. It's going to be nice and short, I think.
You got a Whyyyssaaat?
I've got a Whyyyssaaat. I've just come up with something that you're going to talk about for a bit, so that's
Do I know
that's
it?
What it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll know it, don't worry. It's not like a seemingly stumped where you're not going to know what it is.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah.
So shall we talk about cricket?
Let's talk about cricket.
Excellent. Well,
Second test.
So England, South Africa's second test, and we recorded in the middle of this test actually, and we were not.
We're pretty melancholy.
We were a bit melancholy. We picked up towards the end, but we were a little melancholy like that time out, because England had just collapsed, so we're in the process of collapsing anyway. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure we cursed Ben Stokes just as we finished recording. We were like, Ben Stokes is going to save us, and then he went out literally as we finished recording.
Yeah.
So England in the first innings got 269 all out, which wasn't looking great, but South Africa looked even less great than
just
that.
So wavy,
which was good for the England team.
Mm-hmm.
They were all out for 223, so they had Dean Elgar get 88, but apart from that they had virtually nothing. But then England decided that they remembered how to bat finally, so they came out in the second innings, and Dom Sibley, loving the Dom, got 133. Root got a half century, Stokes had a 72, and they got 391 before they declared, which was good to see, setting South Africa a nice big target. And South Africa, it was looking tight for a while there. South Africa looked as if they were going to pull out a draw. Milan got 84 and stuck around for a long time, and there was De Kock and Van der Dussen in the middle order as well, which stuck around for a long time as well. But finally they succumbed, and of course it was Ben Stokes that took the final 3 wickets and was the hero of the hour, as basically he is every time for this England team. It's crazy, isn't it? So England ended up winning by 100 and something runs, 189 runs in the end. Ben Stokes taking player of the match, which was good to see. So that puts England at 1-1 in the test. And add some more nice little points to the World Test Championship. And we moved on to the third test, which is ongoing at the moment. So the third test has... so England are in the first innings, as we're on day 2 at the moment, just after lunch-ish. And England are currently at 420 for 7. And Ollie Pope, there we are, he's just got his century. He's just hit a boundary to get his century. So maiden test century for Ollie Pope, well done. He is going to be in that team for a long time to come.
Pope and Sibley, really, they should have been in the Ashes.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, And I have to say, there's some great photos around. Actually, I'm going to try and do a bit of googling while we're talking. But there's a great photo of Ollie Pope, because at one point he was batting with both feet off the floor, doing a lovely cut shot, I think it was. And I was tempted to post it on Twitter about, this is how you think you look like when you play, and then I'm going to post another of what you actually look like when you play. But it was just a beautiful photo, actually. So it's worth searching out, and we'll try and stick it up on Twitter, actually.
And just revisiting our kind of prediction. So for this test series, you predicted a 3-1.
I predicted we would lose the first test and win the next 3, and that it would end up 3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I predicted that I predict that we'd lose the first test, draw 1, and then win 2?
You weren't sure which one we were going to draw, but you predicted we were going to draw 1, and we're going to win 2. So
we're looking good.
To be honest, we've got score 420. You shouldn't be losing a test when you've scored 420.
No.
That's the photo I was talking about. So both feet off the air, and it's just an absolutely beautiful photo. And I just get the feeling that that's what you think you look like when you bat.
Yeah. It's definitely not.
I will stick that up on Twitter, and
that is an amazing picture.
We'll also stick up a photo of what you actually look like when you're batting.
Not me, please. Don't do it.
I might have the odd photo of you batting,
just shying away sheepishly from a ball.
I've got videos of you batting. Actually,
Oh god,
which is entertaining.
He looks like some mad samurai.
Yeah, he does.
Futuristic samurai, just.
Yeah, but really good to see him get a century. So England 420, passing 400 for the first time in a long time, and looking set. Can't really ask for much more after the first innings. We won the toss. We were batting first, and look as if we're finally doing what we need to do and get a big score, put pressure on South Africa.
Yeah,
a couple of quick early wickets, and wrap this one up nicely.
Lovely stuff.
On to 2-1, hopefully.
So. Can we do the live reaction thing?
We can do the live reaction thing, yes. We're rattling through the agenda today, I have to say. So we've got 2 videos. Do you want me to give you any sort of context to this at all? Or do you just want to react to what you say? I better give you a little bit.
Okay, give us a little bit of...
So the first video that I'm going to play for you, thankfully it is beeped out so we can play the sound on here, is a bit of controversy of something that happened in the second test when Vernon Philander was batting. Yeah. And Josh Buttler, the wicketkeeper, was having a little bit of sledging. Yeah. So a bit of controversy over what he said, and it's back to that load. Is it? Is it? Where's the line? Did he cross the line or not? So we're gonna play this. It's only about a 30-second clip.
Okay.
You'll hear the sound of it, hopefully, and you can have your judge.
So is this superhero thing real? Real, obviously. Off. 4 tickets for just 200 grand. It's a bloody bargain. Is Stephen Kitsoff coming? Obviously. Awesome. You reckon I can meet Sia?
Okay, that was a total spoof one, and that was not exactly what I intended it to be at all.
I was like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, that's a voiceover on that completely. So, right, I'm going to play the actual clip now.
Right, okay.
Classic. That's one for our outtakes.
Okay.
I got weird sound on.
Right, okay. So he told him to...
It's tough to hear, but basically he told him to effing move, and basically he's an effing something, etc. The clip's out there if it was. So we're for the younger listeners, we're sort of editing that, but basically he just has had a bit of a go at him. It's right next to his stunt mic. It's on Sky. It's not. So he's come in for quite a bit of stick and said that it's not really the place for that. And I don't know. What's your take on it? Because I'll give you mine afterwards. So.
Well, I think there wasn't. So sledging, as it is a practice and a well-known practice within cricket, is to be offensive, to annoy and to wile up. It's not necessarily to be offensive, but it's a kind of.
I don't think it's to be offensive. It's to get in their head, trying to make them act in a different way. And for me, the best sledging is done when it's witty. It's not just about firing off expletives and insults.
No,
and that's what that was for me. So I don't think anything happened to Josh Buttler after that, apart from being widely criticised for it.
I don't think it should. I think if you were going to say, well, his actions were a bit, they were a bit kind of Neanderthalish. They were a bit kind of pub brawl kind of. It was a spat, and did it have the desired effect? Was he using it to that desired effect? He didn't say anything that was kind of ethically a lot different from what a normal sledge would be. In fact, I think more wittier sledgings can be more hurtful and have a greater impact. I think it was a bit of a schoolboy kind of act, maybe out of frustration, which then takes away from the fact that it is a sledge. So maybe it was just what it is. Controversy?
It's not so much controversy. It's just, I think the problem is because cricketers are role models, or our kids watching, and that's not really what the example that you want them to set.
True.
Basically, I think what had happened before that is Philander had got in his way when he was trying to get the ball from it being thrown in from the deep. And I mean, for me, there's funnier ways of putting that.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Oh, I know you put on a few pounds, but can you try and get out of the way for me next time?" Something like that. It takes the edge off it. It's still not great, but there's something where it's just not quite as just expletive filled and offensive. Then you could do something. You could twist that into something a little bit more witty and a little bit more.
You could, you could, and I think it's
and still have the same effect.
It's interesting because I think in competitive sports, and you look at all the sports around the world, there is always going to be some harsh words shared between the different teams, and that is the environment for that to kind of happen. Where cricket has a stump mic, that does change things.
It does,
which I think the art of sledging is a lot different. It comes from funnier commentary, and it's not what you might find on an ice hockey or a football pitch. I don't think there was anything particularly wrong with that engagement. I don't think it was very I don't think it shows the best face of Josh Buttler or English cricket or cricket in general.
Agreed.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. However, I think there's a lot worse things that he could have said and put it, that I think if it got to that, should have been pulled up on. I think saying to someone like that, calling them names and using a few expletives can have the same desired effect in sledging. So I wouldn't. It's not a very pretty face of cricket and sledging and engagements, but it is what it is.
Well, let's pause that conversation there and move on to the next live reaction video. So in this one, we are looking at Kagiso Rabada, and I'm going to spoil it for you that he bowls out Joe Root in the first one. And he did receive punishment for what happens after he takes the wicket. So I'm going to play the video for you now.
So he's taken the wicket.
So he takes the wicket, and it's his reaction. So there you go.
Regulations, and he played properly acted according to the regulations. Rabada is a slow learner because it's not the first time this has happened. You've got to allow play.
So he received. So for that reaction, that's basically for everyone listening. It's Rabada taking the wicket of Joe Root. He bowls him out, and he basically runs to him, arms aloft, and celebrates.
Yeah.
Quite close to him.
Okay.
Do you want to see that again?
Yeah.
Current ICC regulations, and he played properly acted.
Just see on the stump cam as well. He's quite close, isn't he?
This has happened. You've got to allow players some leeway. It's baking hot. He's charging in.
Let's have a look at this. Does he go back to it?
He's not swearing at the opposition. He's not abusing the opposition.
No,
that's obviously his own take on the matter, but so it's kind of an interesting one, that one. But he received what they call a demerit point, and if you get 4 demerit points in a 2-year period, you get banned for a game. It's basically
in a 2-year period.
In a 2-year period.
Wow.
And that was Rabada's 4th. So
you're
that was the 4th point that he'd had. So he now is going to miss the next Test match.
Oh, he's only banned for 1 Test match.
He's only banned for 1 Test match. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if you get if you get 4 of these demerit points, then you are you basically have to miss again.
Do we know why I got demerited before? Similar.
For various things, often something similar. I'm pretty sure, although I don't know if that was because he's been banned before for the same things. Because he took a wicket at Steve Smith a few years ago and barged past him as Smith was walking off, and there was a bit of edgy stuff going on there. So he gets quite excited after that. I mean, as somebody pointed out, that he doesn't really learn because he's done this quite a lot, and he just has a tendency to get banned for it. But on a similar vein, is that
pace bowling takes a lot of passion and aggression to get a ball to move that fast, and once you take a wicket, all of that being expressed in a celebration. However, being the game of cricket and in the spirit of the game, there is you do have to maintain that kind of composure of being a professional sportsman. That's why we have sledging as opposed to just kind of shouting obscenities, which is why I think the Josh Buttler thing comes into play. I think,
and that's the thing. Like he has run up and celebrated pretty close to Root, and yes, a bit too close. He shouldn't really have gone. It wasn't quite in his face, but it was. Yeah, it was in his personal space. It was close enough that that could have provoked a reaction from Joe Root if he wasn't such a controlled character. And for me, I mean, which is worse for you? Is the Josh Buttler one worse, or is the Rabada one worse? Because for me, the Josh Buttler one is marginally worse, and yet nothing happened to him. And Rabada's it's an emotional reaction having taken a wicket.
That's quite.
So
it's a good question.
And given that one has been punished and one hasn't, I don't know. It feels to me like there's something a bit out with the rules here, and that just. I think given that they come so close together, I don't really like the way the rules have gone, if you know what I mean.
Okay, well, let's put it this way then. If you start putting restraints on what can be said behind the stumps, and you say, right, you can't say X.
Well, true, but if you heard something racist going on,
that wasn't
wasn't racist. No, I'm not saying it was. But there already is a line about what you can say, because you couldn't say something racist. You couldn't say something, there are lines already.
100%. So that for me is the line. So when you get into that kind of racist thing, or you get into that kind of emotional or personal level about somebody when you're speaking about it, if you're speaking about something outside the sport and outside, judging someone's character outside of what they're doing there and then, which isn't what Josh Buttler did. He was telling him to do something with some swear words attached. Which, if you get rid of the swear words and you phrase it differently, it's exactly the same as sledging. It just sounds harsher because he's swearing.
It sounds because he's swearing, but he's insulting as well. There's a definite insult in there, and there's aggression.
It's on the spectrum, but I still don't think it's enough to get pulled up on. The celebration. The celebration after you win at something, after you score a penalty, after you knock somebody out, after you.
I'm really hoping we're going across different sports here.
We are. After you kind of go try. There is nothing sportsmanlike at all in any of those games where you can go up to somebody and express your glee and delight in the faces of your opponents. There is a way to win gracefully, and I think.
Rabada has no idea how to win gracefully. I get
I think
that.
In the spirit of that game, there's a place for that kind of frustration and exchange of words behind the stumps when play is ongoing. Once you've won, you've now stepped up. You've done what you've gone in there to do.
So are you saying? And I don't want to put words in your mouth. Are you saying that what Rabada did was worse than what Buttler did?
For me, yes.
Interesting. Well, we're going to have to stick a poll up on this, because I don't see a huge amount of difference. If anything, I'd say that the Buttler incident was worse.
Well, you could. The thing is, if you're getting sworn at and you're batting, you can react to it in a load of different ways. You could say, right, I'm gonna have him now because he's antagonised me, which is maybe what the wicketkeeper wanted to do, or whoever sledged you wanted to do, or it could demoralise you, which is what the wicketkeeper want. Or you could react in that kind of way. It doesn't matter because you're still in play. You've got options, and it's how you respond and your own resilience and mental capacity to deal with that engagement. If you've just been bowled out, you've lost. You are down, my friend. You are. It's the long walk back to the pavilion, and if someone comes up to you in that moment when you're at your lowest, and it doesn't matter. He could have done a number of different things, but he went into Joe Root's personal space in front of the wicket.
That's sort of true. It's definitely not the worst reaction that I've seen.
It's not very gentlemanly.
That's true, but for me the difference is that Josh Buttler wasn't... The Josh Buttler incident was calculated, whereas that is just... The celebration is just an emotional response.
Was it calculated? Is he just...
Fairly,
It sounded frustrated.
He was frustrated, but there was no sort of... That wasn't just an outpour of emotion.
No.
That was after the event, and it was a reasonably calculated, I would say.
They were cold, harsh words.
I think the things you look at in recent history with the South Africa Australia Test, when there was this whole sandpaper get, that all kicked off because of some stuff that happened between David Warner and I forget the player, but one of the South African players.
Oh, okay.
Where one of the South African players made some comments about David Warner's wife, which is not a million miles away from the road you're going down with Josh Buttler there. And then it kicked off in the corridor of the dressing rooms and stuff, and there was a bit of a scrap going on, and that's why it's not why Australia cheated, but it heightened the competitive element to the point where Australia wanted to do anything they possibly could to win.
I'm not going to justify.
And so that's where I kind of see it, that the Buttler said it wasn't as bad, but that's the kind of road you're starting to go down, and I don't like that.
I think.
Whereas
I think
the Rabada one, I don't know. The Rabada one, I feel it's harsh on him for. It wasn't as if he was literally in his face. I don't think there was eye contact. He was just celebrating a little too close, and I think a quiet word in his ear would.
But in a sense, that doesn't matter, you see, because it doesn't. I know once you've taken a wicket, the elation that you kind of get, and expressing that in a celebration.
Do you?
No, but when I do, I will probably have a similar reaction to Rabada, but.
Sorry, man.
That's going on the outtakes.
I'm sorry,
that's going to go on the outtakes. Talk about kicking a man when he's down. But
sorry, man.
So that's absolutely savage.
No.
That's got to go on the outtakes. But the thing is, he going.
I forgot what you were trying to say.
I know. Well, look.
I put you off your game. You see,
that's it. This is it. This is sledging. You see, but going up to somebody, like I say, when they're down like that, and you need to control your celebrations. He didn't have to go up to him and do that. And as I say, if you're out, you're out. You don't need any more kind of. It's bad enough being bowled out. It's bad enough being caught. You don't need. And as someone who's just won, it's incredibly distasteful in my eyes, more so than what Buttler did.
You look at the situation he was in. He'd bowled most of the day. That was later in the day. So he bowled in 33-degree heat.
Yeah. Most
of the day. They'd just got a second new ball, I'm pretty sure, and he hadn't been given the new ball as their quickest, fast frontline bowler. He had that taken off him.
Yeah.
He's then brought on, and he gets probably the most important wicket that they're looking for.
Yeah.
With one of the best balls he's bowled all day. Anyone's bowled all day.
Yeah.
I think it's an understandable reaction.
It would have been if it was 2 to 3 yards in left. Literally, that's all it needed. Why did he have to go up? Literally, not toe to toe, but
I know.
not even
and
a foot
I
away.
get it, and I'm not saying it's right, but I'm
Yeah.
saying that's
I get
more
it.
understandable.
I get where you're coming from, and I get that whole kind of journey and getting that wicket.
Yeah.
But he could have run.
Oh, he totally could, and it's not in the spirit of cricket as we often talk about. And I'm thinking we should rename our podcast "The Spirit of Cricket." But I know we talk about that a lot, but it's not in the spirit of cricket at all.
No, it's not. Neither is Josh Buttler's, but I think
neither of them are.
Josh Buttler's is more easier to excuse, I think.
I disagree. It's interesting,
We'll
but I think they're comparable incidents, and I think the fact that one was punished and not the other is probably wrong. But anyway, Rabada has history of it. He's now picked up his 4th demerit point, which, I mean, it makes him sound like schoolboys. It's hilarious.
It does.
You got demerit point, but so he's now going to miss the next test. So England, if they do continue on and win this, I mean, they've lost their 8th wicket. Dom Bess has gone. So we are 426 for 8.
Nice, yeah.
So at the moment, so if England do go on and win this test, they'll be 2-1 up in the series, and South Africa come into the next test without one of their best bowlers. So England really should have an advantage going into that one if and I'm touching wood here, that they do convert a very good start in this test into a win. You know. That would suit my prediction very nicely if we manage to win this in the next one.
Be interesting to put a poll up, see who.
Well, we'll stick a poll up. That'll be a really interesting debate, because it's not often with that
different
with that on opposite sides of the argument. We often do just for the sake of argument.
Yeah,
but genuinely, I didn't think you were gonna. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I think if you look at other sports, like if you been on a football pitch and basketball court, probably ice hockey. I mean, you know a bit about that.
And I think you're right. I think there's a lot of things that are said, and that's what a lot of people were sort of justifying the Just Buttler one, was saying, oh well, you know, I've heard a lot worse on the cricket pitch. I was like, absolutely, totally get that.
I've heard a lot worse.
But you're an international cricketer. You've got a duty to act more like a role model than somebody on a village pitch on a Sunday, and there's how many million kids watching?
Yeah, but you address that first bit. You're an international cricketer. The stakes are a lot higher. The pressure's up there. It's a lot more competitive. There's a lot more riding on it, and what's said on the pitch isn't for. I think.
Okay, so if that had not been right next to the stump mic and it hadn't been picked up,
and it probably happens all the time.
And it probably does happen all the time.
Yeah.
It's still a different... Although it shouldn't happen, I don't think it's right that it happens away from the stump line.
Yeah.
He's got to use his brain a little bit to think, I'm the wicket keeper, I'm stood right next to the stumps here, anything that I say is going to be picked up. It's just the way televised cricket works now. He should be aware of that.
Well, I think at the most, and I mean this, the very most, someone from the management team should say, look, next time if you buy the stump mic, just try and tone it down a bit. If you're gonna give someone a what for, then just don't be so aggressive, or don't put so many expletives on. Yeah. And that is the very most. But personally, I think a stump mic it's our little fly in the wall as an audience. And I don't think we have a place. I don't think if the controversy has come from people watching television, it's not our place to say how they behave in that respect on the cricket field. Yeah. Even if kids are watching it, because that's part of the sport, that's part of life.
Right, I've just read up about that because apparently Buttler did get a 1 demerit point. So our whole debate.
Did he?
Our whole debate is just. So shall we just start recording again? Shall we?
Okay.
So yeah, he got 1 demerit point as well.
Oh, it's got the quote there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he did get a demerit point as well.
Oh, hold on, to reached. Oh, so it's there's
a law about personal abuse of a player. So he got 15% of his match fee and 1 demerit point. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So there we are. So actually, if they have had roughly similar roughly similar outcomes, I think that's probably about fair.
Escapes.
Well, yeah, because it could have been worse. If the thing is, as it says, if the umpire had determined that it was what was it? What was it? They could have said that basically it was more offensive, effectively, and he could have had more done to him. But yeah, there we go.
Well, he got fined, so
he's got a demerit point, but he's all good.
Yeah.
He's fine. So there we are. I think we've come out of that. I mean, it's just we probably should have researched that before we started recording, really, shouldn't we?
It was still good. I think it's still a good
it's an interesting debate.
Yeah, and you could still put a poll up.
I will still put a poll up just to see. So, what do you think is worse? Is it the Rabada celebration, or is it the Buttler insult? So I'll stick a poll up. So if you want to vote on that, go to Twitter. We are at Wrong End Podcast, and we'll do that.
We'll see how it
that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But there we are. That was an interesting debate we got into. Actually,
that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want a Whyyyssaaat?
I want a Whyyyssaaat.
Whyyyssaaat. And I've still done no jingle, so I still have no jingle for this. But one day I'm going to get some jingles for us. By the time we get to our 100th episode, I'm going to have jingles on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be
segments.
Over a year's time, so but that's fine. But right, Whyyyssaaat.
Whyyyssaaat.
So why is it? Well, first of all, I'm just going to give you the phrase, and I want you to explain what it is, and then why they do it.
Okay.
Because I can't come up with any more words today. So, why is it? So, the phrase is backing up. Why is it that people in cricket talk about backing up? So, what is it, and why do they do it?
Okay. So, backing up is essentially when the ball has been delivered and the batsman has struck the ball out into the field, then backing up is the action of the nearest available or most relevant fielder basically being behind the wickets in the path of where the ball would be coming from the outfield fielder throwing in.
Yeah, I see where you got that.
I said that really badly. So what it means is, so wherever the ball is kind of coming from, so the ball has then been collected, after it's been struck, it's being thrown in. Backing up is the action of another fielder being behind the wicket in the same angle as the ball kind of coming in. So if it does go past the wicket, there's someone there to stop the ball and make sure it's where it needs to be.
Exactly. So basically, if a ball is hit into the offside, it's somebody on the other side of the pitch, on the leg side of the pitch, running in towards the wicket, so that if they go for like a run out and they try and pelt the ball in towards the wickets, if they miss and it goes past them, they basically, what they don't want to happen is the ball goes all the way to the boundary and the batting team gets 4 runs. So you have a guy coming in so that if it does miss the wicket, he's going to stop the ball, he's going to catch it, and you're going to be safe. You're not going to lose any runs. And that's called backing up.
So that's what it means when.
So that's what it means. So backing up is it's kind of the fielders reacting who aren't anywhere near the ball, but are actually on the other side of the pitch with. That's why you've really got to be engaged every single ball as a fielder. And it can be very easy if you're stood out on the boundary to just get into a bit of a daydream and forget where you are and look at that nice,
often
whatever it is. No, I'm looking at you.
Nice herd of cows going on over there. That was a biplane. It's nice.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh yeah, look at that. And then you're like, what? And then you don't realise that somebody the other side has thrown the ball, it's gone past the wicket and it's coming towards you and you're like, oh hell, I've got to go and do something. And that's why a lot of people think, oh well, a lot happens in cricket. There's always stuff happening. Particularly if you're playing, you've really got to be engaged. You've got to concentrate the whole day. It's mentally quite.
It doesn't matter where captain puts you. I think if you were to look at each time, a ball is delivered and the movement of everybody anticipating where's it going to go, and whether you're on long off and it just goes exactly and it goes through them, you're pushing up, expecting whatever could be kind of happening when the ball comes in. Does it clip off of someone? Is it a misthrow?
Well, that's
all of these kind of things.
If you look at the World Cup with Ben Stokes, where he dived in and it came off the bat, if they'd had a fielder down there,
would have been fine.
They could have stopped that, and New Zealand would have won the World Cup right now. I know they didn't have a fielder there, but if they did, and that fielder was just not quite paying attention, always lost. And you would never expect the ball to go where it did. But weird things can happen on the cricket pitch, and that's why you've really got to be engaged for your own safety as well as anything else, trying to stop the runs. But
I would say safety and also backing up and just making sure that you're
backing
aware
up
what's happening.
so it's people coming in. It's I'm going to be drilling that into our six-a-side team this year. Got to back up.
Got to back up
because there's nothing worse than going for a run out. It goes past and they're just getting more runs, and you're annoyed you've missed your run out. You're annoyed that you haven't got the wicket. You're annoyed that you're giving runs away. There's nothing worse.
There's nothing worse. And I do try and kind of get some run outs, and 9 out of 10 times
we like to play aggressively and go for the win. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
None of this conservative play. We're not like trying to stop boundaries. No. We're going all out for
we're getting them out.
We're going for the glorious victory, and if 100%. Not, we're going down in flames.
That's it. That is it.
It's the way we play.
It's the way we live.
Yeah. So that is about backing up. So if you ever hear anyone talking about backing up,
that's what it means.
That's what they're talking about.
Nice.
There we are. I think that's probably the episode. That was a lot longer episode than I imagined it was going to be.
It was good. That Joss Buttler Rabada conversation
it was an interesting
good.
debate. I know we missed some key facts in that debate early on, but hey, we got there in the end. Which sums up our cricketing life, really, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Miss some key bits, but we get there eventually. So, yeah. Right. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. If you would like to get in touch with us about and just point out where we've been wrong and all the rest of it, that's absolutely fine. We're okay with that.
Yep.
You can do so on Twitter or Instagram. We are at Wrong End Podcast. You can email us, wrongendofthestick@hotmail.com. You can play some weird little noise from my computer. Or you can go on, and what else can they do? I don't know. Instagram.
Although
we're at Wrong End Podcast on that as well, but we never do anything on there. So, and also, if you wouldn't mind, all you lovely listeners out there, going onto iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts and leaving us a nice little review.
Please do.
It does help spread the word about our ridiculous lack of knowledge on cricket.
Spread the spirit of the game through us.
Exactly. Yes, that's the one. Right. Thanks for listening. We will be back next week with episode number 40. I know.
Episode number 40.
We're approaching our half century.
Well, at least we can do so in the podcast game as well.
Well, exactly. No, in real life. We've recorded way more episodes than we will ever get runs, I tell you, combined, that is. But, hey, there you go.
Brilliant.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Cheers. Bye.